Are you, in your organization, focused on understanding the value of multiculturalism? There was a point in which everyone was like, we need to be more colorblind. Differences shouldn't matter. And I would argue that differences should matter. So I hope you're actually valuing the differences in your organization, because that's how people then will feel more welcome and it'll be a more inclusive place. But another thing is, are you avoiding or are you approaching dynamics related to diversity, equity, and inclusion? Are you creating an environment where people feel like they can give you feedback? And I don't mean it's like you did badly on this or that, but just in general. Are you asking people, what's one thing I could do differently? What's one thing we could do better? Jack Welch, former CEO of GE, was at a conference, asked people, do your companies have integrity? 95% of people raised their hand. He then asked, do your company leaders give straightforward and honest feedback on performance? Only 5% of people raised their hand. So this thing about giving feedback, we don't do it well in our organizations, and we should and we need to in order to be more inclusive and diverse organization. Here's a piece of why. Feedback in the context of diversity is even harder. Why? Because the feedback giver often sugarcoats information. They don't want to be appeared as discriminatory or biased, so they're not candid. The feedback receiver can sometimes be defensive. Okay, are they saying this because of what I did or who I am or some of the social categories that I belong to? So they're not open. And we know that feedback is one of the keys to progression. If you don't know what you're doing well, what you can improve on, we need to be more courageous and bold in our feedback conversations, regardless of what a person looks like. Because 95% of companies aren't doing feedback well. And I advise lots of different companies and find that performance management is one of the biggest areas where they are weak. And that's one of the biggest areas that is important for being more diverse and inclusive.